Hello and welcome to the Career Spotlight series hosted by Flint Genesee Education and Talent. In this series, we introduce you to local professionals and give you an inside look at different careers right here in our community. Today, we're excited to be joined by Nikki Koliopoulos, who works as the sales manager at Cumulus Flint. Thank you so much, Nikki, for being here.
Of course. Hi, Bree. How's it going?
It's going good. How about you?
Good.
Good. Well, I'm really excited to share a little bit more about what you do as a sales manager and what all that entails. So to kick us off, could you just tell us a little bit about yourself, your job title, and where you work?
Yeah, so I'm from the area. I went to Kersley. Shout out to the Hornets. And my job title right now is sales manager for Cumulus Flint. In Flint, we have 3 radio stations, CK 105.5, B95, and Z92.7. We also have Cumulus Digital and do events. So we are a radio station company who we are using all of those areas to create comprehensive marketing tactics for people.
Very fun. And I feel like sales is one of those careers where if you're very social or maybe you're very active, like hard to sit still, people are saying, oh, you're going to be great in sales. But there's so much more to actually what that entails as a career. So very excited to dive in with you today. Can you talk a little bit about what inspired you to pursue this career?
Yeah, so growing up, I listened to CK 105.5 and participated in some contests. I would call in and I thought, like, I like music. I love concerts. I thought this is a really fun thing to be a part of that's putting good into the community. So I started as an intern in college and then got hired in when I graduated. And then I've gone to do a couple other things, but I've been back a couple of times. But that's really why I got started, as I wanted to be part of something that I thought was fun.
Yeah, that's so cool. Tell us a little bit about what a typical day looks like for you in your job at Cumulus Media. And I know it's different because you're all over in the community, but I think that is a really unique perk that usually people aren't thinking about when they're looking at a career field.
Yeah. So if you are someone who really likes, I clock in at this time, here are my tasks, and then I am done, that sort of personality does not lend itself well to this, because you can have a list, but and like a lot of careers, it gets deviated from. So some of the more odd things that I'm doing right now, on Friday, I had to figure out how to get dirt off of pumpkins for an event we had Sunday. And so ice scraper and a broom was how we got dry dirt off pumpkins. So I would not normally think that that's something that a sales manager is doing, but you have to be very creative and think of solutions for problems you can't even anticipate sometimes. And then there are, of course, the things like paperwork and building proposals and having conversations with people to understand their needs and a lot of follow-up. So you have to be both really creative and very detail oriented for this position.
Very cool. And so, Nikki, let's role play a little bit. Say I am a new business owner and I come to you and I say, I just opened my business, but I need to get people in the door. What would that conversation look like? And what are the things that you could help me with to reach these different audiences through all of your different channels?
Yeah, so identifying your target audience is very important. A lot of mistakes that small business owners make are they go on the outlets that are the media that they consume. And it's really important to put yourself in the shoes of your target customer. So I would ask you, what geographic region are you trying to reach? Are there any tactics that you've used before that you're interested in? Are you leaning more male or female, age ranges? Anything you can tell me about your demographics so that I can match that up with one of my solutions. The other thing that I feel my company specifically does really well is we care about small business too. So we have solutions for all sizes. So maybe what you need to do is just get your directory listing in place first. We need to make sure that you're established with your online presence. And then we can add in some of the flavor. Do we do a grand opening live broadcast? Do we do a promotion? And so it's really understanding who you're trying to reach first and making sure those foundational elements are in place so that we can grow together.
Super cool. Tell me, what do you enjoy most about your work?
It's so fun. So at the base, I feel that we are putting good into the community. So we're helping small business. We are making people happy. We're giving away prizes. I like being able to be part of something that I think is strengthening my community. And it's so creative. There are lots of forms of media, and they all have strengths. But what I love about what we're doing here with radio and Cumulus Media is the creativity and the connection. So we just worked on a campaign where we sent our DJs out to a store and we filmed it, and then they were able to use that on air and on social media and through digital, and that we brainstorm together. So there's a lot of collaboration. My team might bring something to me. Here's a client. Maybe they know what they're looking to do. Maybe they don't. And so we get to come up with some really fun stuff to be a part of that ultimately moves the needle for the client. So then they're successful. They see growth. And I love developing those relationships and those partnerships.
I love that so much. And I think it's so important for our students who may be listening or maybe watching to understand that sales might be a career that you're looking at because of earnings potential. You can make as much money as hard as you want to work, but the things that you're sharing, really wanting to do good, really wanting to help, it's really unique, the opportunity that you have, because you get to be sort of like a fifth man on everyone's team. You're helping the clients that you're working with be super successful in what it is that they want to do. And it sounds like it is a very rewarding.
Yeah, so that
what are some of, oh, sorry, go ahead.
So I think my audio cut out a little bit. That's a really good point that you made. So when I started, I didn't think, what I want to do is be a sales manager. I started because I liked the promotions.
Yeah.
And then I found out, okay, how can I monetize this? How can I make this a successful career? So sometimes I think people think, they have to pick something just for money. And that's fine if that's what inspires you. But I really encourage people to figure out what makes them happy and then find ways within that to then make the money too. So you have the best of both worlds. So yeah, I didn't start out with this as my dream job. My dream was maybe more media. I took journalism classes and I found a way to make it work.
Very cool. And I think even when you love what you do so much, work is still work, and we're still going to have days that are really hard for us. What are some of the things that are challenging for you in your job?
Yeah, this was very hard in the beginning, was to you can say don't take things personally, but when you care about what you're doing, you're going to take it a little bit personally, and that's okay. You just have to figure out how to balance it. So one thing that I still work to achieve is allow myself, if I am done at this time, I am done at this time mentally, because recharging, I deserve that. And actually, so does my team and my clients. They deserve me to recharge so that I can be the best version of myself. So I think having a strong network of people around you that can support that is really important. But this sort of job, it is a little bit of a mentality. It's a little bit of a lifestyle. So you have to be okay with that and use it to fuel you and not let it drain you, which can be a really difficult skill to improve.
Yeah, different day to day, week to week.
Yeah.
Let's think of our students who are listening and might want to follow in your footsteps. You already mentioned that you went to school and took journalism classes, and that's sort of what redirected you back to this job. But as a sales manager, you're probably hiring people to come and be a part of your team. So what are some of those skills and qualities that are most important to you in your role?
Yeah, so I took maybe a more traditional path where I took a journalism class my senior year, a broadcast journalism. I liked it. I thought this maybe will be a skill that I can use somehow. And it's true, because writing sentences and taking a lot of data and compiling it down is really a transferable skill to a lot of professions. But what's interesting about what I do is my employees come from all sorts of backgrounds. And the common denominator, though, is, are you comfortable talking to people? Are you a curious person? And then do you like to create solutions? So I would encourage people that when they're going to look at their post high school options, something that maybe is broadly applicable if they're already not so sure that they want to be on one very set niche thing.
Very good.
Like marketing.
Yeah.
Oh, marketing classes. There's so much you can do with that. And I would argue that most jobs have some level of marketing, even if that's not your title.
Yeah, for sure. So we already talked a little bit about some of the classes that you took, but what type of education, training, or certifications can help someone get started down this career path?
There's so much that you can do on your own, way more than when I started. So you can go on Google and get some certifications there. You can go I use Canva, as you know, I love Canva, Bree. You can go on Canva and teach yourself basic graphic design, which probably a lot of students maybe are already familiar with, or that seems very simple to them. But in the workforce, that is still something that's very needed, as some of the older generations, they're learning that now. So a lot of that you can play around with yourself, teach to yourself, even video editing, social media. Some of those skills they're probably already developing for marketing, and maybe they just don't think of it that way. So I did go to Mott Community College, which I think is a great option for some of my basics. Then I went to Michigan State University, where my degree was in journalism. And then additionally, maybe shout out here to Flint Genesee Education and Talent, does a lot of marketing classes that I will sign up for. And then they recommend books, some of those speakers. So there's a lot of things that I do to try to increase my knowledge all the time, because this is a very evolving and fast-moving landscape. But those are some of the things that, there's a lot you could just do on your own without a formal, before you even get to the formal part of it.
Yeah, great. And again, keeping our students in mind, if we have someone who's listening that this is really piquing their interest, but they think, oh, this sounds like a very social job. It sounds like you're talking to people a lot. These are skills that I need to build. I think that there are clubs or part-time jobs or groups that you can be involved in that will help you build that skill set as early as high school. Nikki, what are some of those things that you were involved in way back when?
Oh, yeah. So I did do some sports, which sports help you work as a team, conflict resolution, goal setting. And that I met with some students that there was actually a sales club that I did not exist. I don't think existed in my school, but I was talking to some college students recently. But there are two sides to this. There's that very social side. So any club is going to help with that. But there's also the side where you are doing graphic design and you're at a computer. So there are paths that are within the world of marketing that go in both directions. Some of my team members, they're not on the client facing side. They are optimizing campaigns and assessing digital metrics. And there is a place for all of those strengths in the Cumulus umbrella, and I'm sure many other media companies.
Yeah, very good.
That kind of deviated from your question a little bit, but
no, but so helpful still. I mean, even when you said like a sales club, I'm even thinking of a DECA, like all of those things that are going to build, like you said earlier, those transferable skills in you that would apply to a career in sales or marketing, but also many other careers 10 times over.
So when I was younger, my first job was actually selling hot dogs at a Home Depot. And at the time I wasn't thinking, wow, this is going to help me so much in life, but I was there by myself. It was so you're really making a lot of decisions on the fly, and you're selling and you're interacting with people. So I bet there are things that everyone's doing right now that they don't even recognize yet how the benefits that's going to have. And the other class that I want to give a shout out to, I had some great Spanish teachers in high school and in college. And I think anyone who's able to learn another language, because radio kind of is its own language too. There's so many terms, and a lot of careers are like that. So the more that you're comfortable with learning different languages, expanding your vocabulary, I also think anyone who's doing those things, those are really transferable skills as well.
Yeah, very good. So let's zoom out a little bit and look at the bigger picture. We're talking sales and marketing. You're working in a very specific industry. What's something interesting that's happening in your industry right now of radio and media? How are you keeping up with all of it?
Yeah, so that's probably some of the students are thinking radio. But the cool thing is that we reach over 100,000 people in Genesee County each week. So all forms of media look different than they did at one point. So what our task is to be on top of those and ahead of those trends. So one big topic of conversation right now is the implementation of AI. That is a big thing that's happened in the last year and a half, where we now have our own system. So today, Bree, if you said, I don't know what your fictional business was. I don't know that you said. Do you want to pick a fictional business?
I'm opening a bakery.
Okay, you're opening a bakery. I can, if you have a website already, I can pull your website, take that content, and have a 15 or 30-second video ad back for you same day.
Oh, wow.
Scrubbing your website to make an AI generated script,
Yeah.
using AI generated images, and then I can have that back to you. So that doesn't erase the people aspect.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. While it's improving, the people aspect is never going to go away from this completely, but we are using it to make us more efficient and stronger, provide quicker results for people. So that's one of the big things happening in our industry right now, is probably how AI is impacting things.
Yeah, I think that's applicable to most industries right now.
Yes.
So let's go back to a little bit of advice for our students. Looking back, what advice would you give yourself in high school?
Yeah, so I'm fortunate where I enjoyed my high school experience, and I don't think that that's true for everybody. But what I wish I would have realized is the part that matters is kind of how you're developing your character and your personal identity. Like that part, that's the part that matters.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the other stuff that seemed important at the time actually wasn't important. The people that were hard workers, that's what kind of translates later in life, because you're going to meet people who are adults that are maybe they were like the head of their class, but maybe they just, that it wasn't the environment for them. But the people that I've seen that are the most interesting to talk to tried different things and tried different clubs and figured out what their own personal interests were. So that's what I would maybe try to, I had a very like narrow view of your bubble is smaller, or my bubble is smaller.
Yeah.
And so there's stuff that definitely mattered that I'm proud of. And then some of it I'm like, this isn't going to matter.
Yeah. What did high school Nikki want to be when she grew up?
Oh, okay. So I haven't really reflected on this, Bree. So I remember specifically in 10th grade, my teacher asked us this question, and I said I wanted to be event staff. And he said, he said, you need to dream bigger, which I agree. I needed to dream bigger. But at the time I was like, I just wanted to like work at a concert or something. And so what's actually really cool is now I've had roles in my life where I am event staff, but it's just in a different way, and I'm running it in a different way. So I guess I kind of did fulfill a lot of what I wanted to do at one point. It just looked a little different. So maybe I didn't recognize that until we're talking about it.
Yeah, but still, you're doing it in a lot of different ways. I think it's really cool to reflect back on that and see that while your title isn't event manager or coordinator, you're still having the opportunity to contribute to events all over the community.
Yeah. So that is, I think, one of the main things I wanted. And when I was little, I, of course, wanted to be a teacher. I loved playing school. I love just offices and office supplies, which is maybe evident by my background. But now I've also found roles where I am teaching daily. I'm teaching the strategy of radio, building a campaign, of marketing, of how to talk to clients, because I now manage other people. So thank you, Bree, for asking that, because now I'm reflecting. I'm like, did we make it? Did we do it? We're here. Yeah.
That's awesome. So what piece of advice would you give to students as they think about their own future careers?
Yeah, it is okay. You're under no obligation to be the same person today that you thought you were yesterday, or that you thought you were last year, or if in 2 years from now that person wants different things, that is fine. You can evolve constantly, and your mind can change constantly, and it should, because you should check in with yourself and say, like, what does Bree want? What does Nikki want? And that's really hard sometimes, because there's a lot of well-intentioned influences in our life who are trying to help us decide what we want to do and shape us. And we should take advice from people we trust, but you can change your mind and you can do something else.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to go a little bit off script for this fun question. Outside of work, what's a hobby or interest that you enjoy?
Oh, okay. So you know how some people are like, just, I bring my groceries to me. I don't want to shop. I love to go find stuff and then figure it out. So sometimes I'll just buy things and be like, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with this spice or whatever. I bought something recently, like maybe a type of squash. I don't know. I'm like, I'm going to figure it out. So I do like to, I would, when I was younger, would not have considered myself a creative or artistic person necessarily, but I realized that I think we all are, just sometimes looks different for different people. So my creativity comes out a little bit in maybe creating recipes or playing around with food, and then now the creation of like commercials or graphic design. So I do really enjoy making a mess in the kitchen.
It sounds like it's hard for you to turn that creative button off in your brain. So you're just like finding a different outlet to continue doing like the fun making.
Yeah, which is funny because I think a lot of people think of me, well, I actually have gifts that are like, oh, this calls for a spreadsheet. I think a lot of people think of me as very, if anyone believes in this, Virgo. I've been told I'm very Virgo, like very kind of type A, Enneagram 1, those sorts of things that are really into spreadsheets and order and organization. And that is true too. But we don't have to be this one thing, right? We can be all the things we want to be. And so I guess I am realizing maybe I am a more creative person than I thought.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you're in the perfect industry to flex that creative muscle. And I just want to say thank you so much for joining us today and sharing some of these insights with us. It's very fun to see how you can have a successful career in sales and marketing right here in Flint, Genesee. And I hope that our students will start to see that as well. I'm sure that we both can relate. You know, when we were growing up and going to school, we couldn't wait to graduate and get out of here, but have really ingrained ourselves in a lot of different aspects of this community. So what would you tell students who are listening right now on like how to get involved outside of school, outside of, you know, like you said, their bubble right now?
Yeah. So I'm this may be a shameless plug. So I'm a part of the Flint Genesee Young Professionals, or I will be. This is my final year. I like seeking networking groups like that, and there are a lot in the community that do different things. There's an African American Advisory Committee, and outside of what the Flint Genesee group does, there are lots of little groups like that you can find, even if it's just you meet up and play board games. So you never know who you're going to meet in settings like that. So there are a lot of things happening if you just look for them in Flint and Genesee. I think there's a misconception that there's not. There's stuff going on everywhere. So, and then if that's not your jam, there are like maybe online communities of different groups of people that you can find that have similar interests. That maybe that's like a step before you go into the meeting with, because there are forums. When I worked for a nonprofit for the first time, I joined some Facebook groups to connect with people who could help me with that. But one thing I would suggest, if there are people in the community that you respect or you want to emulate, like, ask them to have a conversation. That is okay. A lot of us would be open to meeting, somebody for a coffee or something. And but I would look around and see maybe locally who's doing things that you admire or respect, and then you take bits from each person so you can start to build like what you want your path to look like.
Yeah, I think that's a super fun way to figure out what your own career path is going to be. Also, early on you mentioned title as sales manager, but you're doing all of these things. So you think you might know where someone works or what they do for work, but until you actually have that conversation on what that career can actually entail, you might not be considering something that is actually made for you.
Yeah, that there are probably some of my closest friends, I'm not sure that I could explain what they do. And people think the radio station looks one way, and it probably is completely different for what a lot of the perception a lot of people have.
Yes. All right. Well, thanks again, Nikki. We loved having you. We loved hearing more about your career in sales and marketing with Cumulus Flint. And for those who are listening and watching, remember, these interviews are a way to explore different career paths and discover opportunities available right here in Genesee County. For more spotlights, be sure to visit our social media channels, subscribe to our newsletter. We're going to be releasing these across a number of different platforms. So we're excited to see how they reach you, and feel free to let us know in the comments, what are the careers that you're interested in exploring? And we will definitely grab someone from that industry for you to meet. All right. With that, that'll wrap it up for today. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.